Okay, so let's go over question 5. So question 5 asks, work out the volume of the pyramid below. So to work out the volume of a perimeter, you're going to have to memorize this formula, which is 1/3 times the base area times height. Okay, so 1/3 times, so the base area, which is these square, which is 8 times 8, which is 64, times the height of 9. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1/3 times 9, which is quite simple to do. So you just do 9 divided by 3, which is 3, times that by 64, and that should give me, so 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1, 19, so 192 centimeters cubed. So here's another formula for you to memorize, which is volume is equals to 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, so let's just put in those various values into the formula. So the radius is equals to 3 times, so square that, times the height of 7. So 1/3 times pi times, so 3 squared is equals to 9. So 9 times 7 is 63. So let me just replace that with 63. So I'm going to do 1/3 times 63. So 63 divided by 3 is 21 pi meters cubed. So 21 meters cubed. Okay, so let's go over question number 7. So question number 7 asks, a sphere with a radius of 3 centimeters is melted down and reformed into a solid cone. So the cone is 4 centimeters high. Calculate the radius of the base of the cone. Give your answer in the exact form. So let me just explain what's going on. So we have a sphere and it has a radius of 3 centimeters. Whoops, this is a bit too long. A radius of 3 centimeters, and this sphere is going to be melted down to a solid cone with a height of 4 centimeters, and we are asked to work out the radius of this cone. So how do we do that? Okay, so the first assumption we're going to make is because we have a shape which is going to be melted down to another shape, we can safely say that the volume of the sphere will be equal to the volume of the cone. And that's because we're using the same material and the same stuff. So obviously, to go from the sphere to the cone, we should easily have the same volume of the two shapes. So we can easily work out the volume of the sphere because the only thing we need is just the radius. So the volume, it can be worked out by doing 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Okay, so 4/3 times pi times 3 cubed is 27, and then we're going to do 4/3 times 27. So 27 divided by 3 is 9, and 9 times 4 is 36 pi. So that is the volume of the sphere. So now that we know the volume of the sphere, and we made the assumption that the volume of sphere is equal to the volume of the cone, we can say that, right, the volume of the cone, which is 1/3 times pi times r squared, should give you 36 pi. Okay. Oh, so what? Oh, hold on, I forgot one thing. So r squared times h gives me 36. So from the question, we know that the height of the cone is 4. So I'm going to replace the h with a 4. And now we can work out what the radius of the cone will be. So let's do 4 times 1/3, which is 4 over 3 times pi times r squared is equals to 36 pi. Okay, so both pi's will cancel out as they appear on opposite sides, and we can get rid of the 3 by multiplying 3 by both sides. Now we're left with 4r squared is equals to 36 times 3, which is 808. Then we can divide both sides by 4. We're left with r squared is equals to, so 108 divided by 4 is 27. And lastly, what we can do is just take the square root of both sides. Then we're left with the square root of 27 as your final answer. So if you have a calculator, you can just plug that in, or you can use the trial and error method to find out what the square root of 27 is, because obviously 27 is not a square number, so it's going to take a bit of time, but it should be a number between 5 and 6, but it should be somewhere closer to 5. So maybe try 5.05 or 5.25. Maybe that should give you the square root of 27, but that requires a bit of trial and error. And if this were to be a non-calculated paper, 27, the square root of 27 would be sufficient as your final answer.